Yeah, I'm good. I was just fucking with you. Hey, everybody. Welcome
I was about to do it myself.
I should have just waited to see how long I could just stare at you before you were like, okay, I guess I'll start. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Capes, Cows, and Close Calls. My name is Nick. With me always is my co-host, Sean, the Irishman King.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, man?
Another episode, man. Hey, I forgot in the beginning of the last episode.
You did.
So let me do it in the beginning of this episode.
Slacked off on your job.
Please, remember, leave a review. Let us know what you think of this episode. Let us know what you think of the topic. You got any tidbits? You struggling over there?
You
do have a dented can.
I know.
The tab on
the thing almost
lid
fell into the drink.
But yeah, let us know what you think. Leave us just a review. Be constructive.
Yeah,
Tell us
for
you
sure.
hate us if you want. I'd love to hear something.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to hear you guys' ideas. If you have any ideas for topics, episode ideas, whatever, again, all the links are in the description down below. You can send us an email. You can send us a voicemail. Like, just let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Man, for sure.
I mean, we'll get into the topic later, but this one was actually not. This topic wasn't chosen by us.
It wasn't. No, we had a topic planned. Shit didn't work out, and that happens.
We pivoted.
We pivoted, and here we are. So yeah, man.
Man, should we talk about our failure?
Should we talk about our failure?
Our failure?
Why would we do that?
I think we should let the people know
That we're not perfect?
Yes.
Yeah, let's not break that
I
illusion.
think we bring it up. We failed just this last Saturday
Oh. I was like, what are we talking about here?
to fly kites.
I don't know if we failed.
We definitely did not succeed.
Bitches. We got them bitches airborne with the lack of wind that we had.
For not any extent of time, really, and with lots of running.
Listen, they were in the air. It could have been worse. So it was my first time flying a kite.
I know, and I feel as your close best friend here, I have let you down.
Nah. I still enjoyed
I told you, I was
myself.
like, we're gonna get this up in the air, die, try it, and neither happened. We didn't die, nor did we get up in the air.
I guess when you put it that way, we did fail, right?
I'm saying.
We're still fucking here. But that kite was not up in the sky.
That kite did not make it up.
I mean, so for me, as someone who's never flown a kite, or I take it back.
You still haven't, Nick. That's what I feel bad about. Is that you still have not flown a kite.
The one time that I can actually remember trying to fly a kite, I didn't get it airborne at all. Like, I didn't even get it off the ground. So the fact that this bitch at least hovered for a little bit, for me, that was successful.
So do you realize, like, if it was windy out, you would be able to get it. It would be hard to get it down almost. It would go shoot up without the running, and that's when I was telling you, like, you would want extra string because it just keep going.
No, I didn't realize that.
So
Also,
that's
what
what
a
I was
crazy
trying to
fucking day. Like, all day we sat around and it was windy as shit. And then we go to the lake.
Before we got to the lake, where the plates and shit were blowing
blowing
off the
all
tables.
over the goddamn
It was
place.
super
I lost
windy.
the balloon.
Yeah?
That bitch was gone in a matter of seconds. And yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. So it was just to give context, it was your daughter's birthday.
Third birthday.
Baby
girl's 3.
And so what did we do is we decided we should take all the children, your nieces and nephews.
Yep, to fly kites.
To fly kites. And what it ended up being is like 6 grown adults failing to
running
fly
around
kites.
on the beach trying
Those
to
kids
fly
were
some
not
kites.
interested.
They were not. They were all just digging in the sand or splashing in water. And it was just a bunch of grown-ass barefoot people
Yep, out
running
there,
around
running
on the beach.
around, trying to get a kite in the air.
And I mean,
failing.
from end to end of this beach. Like, it wasn't even like we were just in one place.
We ended up kind of taking over the beach. People,
we did.
I felt bad. I cut through a game of catch between father and son. They just left afterwards. I was like, man, I only cut through you one time.
No, it was a good time, though, man. It is crazy
was.
that the wind just died down as soon as we decided to start flying kites. That was pretty ridiculous.
I wonder if it was like because, like, I think we went to the beaches off of Lakeshore. It might have been because there's nothing blocking it. Where this had like houses. I think
So
we
you
would
think
have
it
had
maybe
more
like
success.
whipped around the buildings and stuff?
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But we're gonna try again, man.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to try
Do it again.
We'll have some more
Yeah, the
windy
craziest.
days, I would say.
We're gonna have loads. It's the Windy City. I know it's not really
you're not
called
wrong.
that, but called because of that. But
Why is
you
it
know
called
that,
the Windy City?
It has nothing to do with wind.
What does it have to do with?
Corruption. Google it.
What are you saying to me right now?
Chicago being known as the Windy City has to do with the corruption and the mob, not with actual wind.
Why are you making stuff up, bro?
Google it.
Why are you? I don't. Do you find amusement in this? Just making shit up. Why
would I make that up?
Chicago? I don't know, man. You're correct.
I would make some shit up like that.
Yeah, you would. I know you would. Fucking act like I don't know you. You would 100% make some shit up like that.
Have you ever tried to like start a thing to see if it would catch on? Like as an example here, I used to tell people this doesn't work anymore because nobody listens to the radio in the car.
Mm-hmm.
But if you switch stations in the radio and it's the same song on both stations, that it's good luck. I made that shit up.
I would have rolled with that.
And I just kept telling people.
I'd have rolled with that because it feels like it. It feels like that would be like good luck. We're gonna need to tape down everything on this.
Bro,
table,
I don't know what's going on with Joker today, and I think it's also because I can't quite see what I'm doing from this angle. Did you look at that?
Yeah. Well, just the Google AI response. Chicago is called the Windy City due to a combination of literal and metaphorical factors. The city's location on Lake Michigan, blah, blah, blah.
That sounds like actual wind. It's the metaphor.
However, the nickname also stems from Chicago's reputation for being boastful and full of hot air, particularly among its politicians and residents during the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess, bro. The Windy City, baby.
Windy City.
City of broad shoulders. I don't know what that was.
Doesn't that have to do, like, I just recently heard, man, so history is not my subject.
No, me neither.
But the broad shoulder things comes from, like, the fact that we were, like, the meat packing.
I don't know.
We don't need to get into this.
You're not going to have me Google every fact about Chicago right now.
I just know, shockingly, you know what? Listen, we were, I think, were we talking? No, I think Andrea and I were talking about this, that we have like the best cut secret. It was definitely Andrea and I being in Chicago. You know why?
Why?
Because for one, it's a great fucking city.
Facts.
But if you leave the city and tell anybody from Chicago, they'd like go, Chirac, oh my God.
Yeah.
Were there shootings? Did you make it out of your house?
Bro, that's
and
so
you know
annoying.
what, man? We roll with it. You know why? Because we don't want them to come to our fucking city anyways.
It is super annoying, though, to hear people talk about how dangerous. Oh, Chicago's so dangerous. It's like, bro, relax.
It's not.
It's
really not.
It's not that bad.
It's
like, do people die here? Yes, but people die everywhere. Like, why are we pretending like...
When I went to Denver, I was like, man, there is nobody in this city. It was weird.
Sounds like a boring place.
I mean, the mountains are great. But being actually cool. in
like
the
actually
city
in
of
the city,
Denver.
there was nobody there?
Yeah, did I tell you what we did in there?
No.
We went to a place called Meow Wolf.
Okay.
Meow Wolf? Meow Wolf. And I feel like you should look this up too, because I'm not going to describe this well. It's the idea, and it's humongous. So let me start with this. It is like a huge building.
I think there might be a Chicago location, because it literally says Meow Wolf Chicago. But let's see.
I think that's a restaurant.
Oh, makes sense.
And I went to an interactive experience.
Okay. Meow Wolf Denver. Okay.
Okay. So the idea is like a bunch of artists got together and tried to make it seem what it would feel like to walk into another dimension.
That sounds like a trippy experience.
It was pretty trippy.
I was say, it seems like they all just took shrooms. And
so there was like a bunch of
out.
like what you would... It was like cool. Being in the, the Stranger Things, the Underground?
The Upside Down.
The Upside Down, thank you. Like the Upside Down / I walked into Wonderland / I walked into Oz. Like I just walked in and it's floors. Like it's not like one area you walk. Like you go and you like find a door and then you're walking upstairs and you're in another dimension. And then you walk back downstairs and you're in another dimension. It was like, it's like a 2-hour experience of walking through these rooms.
That sounds cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun
There
time.
was definitely an element there was like you bought your admission and then there was like you could buy an RFD card. Is that what they're called? And then there was like a navigated tour. And I didn't do the tour thing. And I realized if I had done that, I probably would have understood the task at hand way better.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
I know that Andrea did not feel like collecting the memories. But there was a whole element of collecting memories because you would scan things on the wall. It would tell you have the memory, and you have to go to a computer pad and like scan them in, and it would take fragments of memories and play you a video that was like playing a story. There's a villain of this place.
That sounds cool as shit.
This villain is trying to make everybody in the dimension forget everything, so you're like collecting the memories to give the people the memories back.
I'm
and
on
there
board.
were people super into it, and
I'd
there
have
were
been super
people
into it.
clearly not doing it. I walked into this one room with TV screens, and they had done something, and they were playing like the video, like the villain origin story, and I was like, the fuck did you do that? They leave the room. I'm hitting all the buttons, man.
You're like, what is this?
I'm like, what? I'm touching the walls. I was like, how do they make the video play?
I'm shocked that you weren't like so invested in this. This seems like
I was fairly invested. I will tell you, we should have ate before because I was also starving.
that'll
We
do
were
it.
like, we
That'll
are
do
so
it.
hungry, but
Yeah.
we went into every room. It was my favorite room. It was this, man. I'm gonna describe it poorly. You like walk in, you're like, they have like basically like walking into a dome, so to speak here, and they had this like table in the middle. And I went to the middle of the table, and I was like, oh, it spins. And so I'm spinning the table, and it starts shaking the dome that I'm in. And then they were like doing ghost-like whispers.
Oh.
Like the place was like haunted.
Yeah.
And then like this, all of a sudden there's like shouting in the corners. And as I'm like spinning this thing as fast as I fucking can. And then I went to like the wall in the dome, and they had like all these levers, and you pull the levers, and it's like one vibrates the dome, the other one makes noise, and you're just like pulling all the things. That was cool. It was
That
cool
sounds like a
experience.
fun time.
Yeah.
And that was in Denver?
I was in Denver.
All right. I'm gonna have to put that on the list. That sounds fun, man.
Yeah.
How long would you say the experience was?
So they say it's supposed to be about 2 hours.
Okay.
It's probably a little bit longer if you really want to figure out
The mystery,
the mystery,
the memories and
villain.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I would definitely want to. Like, to me, that's why I would pay for that
It
experience.
felt like an escape room on steroids in that element, where it was like, man, like some people's minds don't work the way. Like, I don't know if my mind works the way I need it to.
My competitive nature would have kicked in, and I'd have been like, I'm finding every goddamn. If it takes me all day, I'm taking that.
How are you at escape rooms?
I've only ever done a couple, and I've never. Have I ever?
Don't tell me
escaped
you've
one?
never escaped.
I lie. I have escaped one. So my escape room experiences haven't been great, to be honest with you.
We should go to one.
I've done like two, one of which we did with children, which was incredibly distracting.
Yeah.
Like younger children. So that was very difficult. The second of which we did with a really large group. Like too many people.
We were bumping into each
it was
other.
just too many people trying to figure shit out. So like everybody was doing their own thing, and you were picking pieces, and like shit was out of order, and like we might have done a step that should have been done, you know, we had 4 more steps before that step, so now we're confused because we got to backtrack. Yeah, so that also wasn't great. It also got to a point where like we were like 45 minutes in, and everybody was just kind of uninvested at that point because we were just stuck. So many people just kind of lost interest. So then you just had people sitting around just like waiting for the 60 minutes to be up for the door to unlock so they can leave.
I know that drove you nuts.
Oh, it drove me absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, bro. Like I wanted to fight them. I'm like, get the fuck up. Like, shit. So yeah, my escape room experiences haven't been like the best, I'd say.
I've only not escaped once, and I've done quite a lot.
That's impressive, man.
And then why I didn't escape, man, it said expert level, and they were fucking around. It was Jurassic Park themed.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Jurassic themed. I don't think they could copyright it. And it was one of those escape rooms where like you unlock other rooms. So like you're in one room, you unlock it, and you go in. So we're like, this one had like a 4th room. I was like, there's a lot of rooms. We're in the 4th room, and then we're stuck now. And what it was is you were supposed to get the bone in the 1st room.
Oh.
And bring it into this 4th room to put it into their sciencey.
Were you able to
thing.
backtrack? Like
Yeah, you could walk backwards.
Okay, you could go back.
Yeah.
It wasn't
But,
like,
like-
I left something in the 1st room. You're done.
Room 1 was so long ago in my mind that
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
in that room existed anymore.
That's fair.
I wasn't thinking of going fucking backwards.
Yeah.
To go get it. So that one, man, that one kicked my ass. But the other ones, even like I did one with my siblings. and they were just like the escape room people were not on their game, but we still managed to get out. But they had like, there was like these cars, these like big Matchbox style cars that had letters under them. Mm-hmm. And 2 of them were missing by the group previously. They stole them.
Oh.
And so we don't know that.
Right.
And so we still managed to get out. And we're like, the fuck's with the cars? Because like we've been collecting these cars. They have letters on them. And we didn't solve whatever that was. And then like they're looking around. Oh, I think the people stole the other ones. And somehow we just managed to get by without doing that part of the
It's impressive, man.
But they were so that on their game that like it ends like you solve the last thing and you hit the button. And they're clearly supposed to be watching you in the camera. So you hit the button and the door opens.
Yeah.
We're hitting the button. Nothing's happening. And then 5 minutes goes by. We're thinking we're doing it wrong. Oh, you did it. I was like, oh, you just weren't paying attention. And we did it 5 minutes ago. Yeah. So like it sucks because like for some places that was the first time and they'll never want to do it again because that wasn't the best experience. But yeah. Anyways.
Right. Yeah, I just think I haven't had a great group to do an escape room with. You know what I mean? Because like I think for an escape room you need, first of all, you got to have like some kind of chemistry with the person. I think it'd be incredibly difficult to do it with somebody I don't know.
You say that? I did it with for work once, and it wasn't with my direct team. So it was like with a couple of our sourcing people, and then it was like a supplier of ours that was visiting that wanted to do this. So I was with like acquaintances to straight up strangers, and we got out of that bitch in 17 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Was everybody on the same page though? Like was
everybody found multiple clues?
Okay.
Everybody was just crushing it.
Yeah, everyone's...
Honestly, I feel like I wasn't bringing it enough.
Everyone's commitment to the challenge was on the same level. Yeah. I think that's
everybody
where
was
my
like,
problem is.
As soon as I get this done, I get to go home. Let's get out of this fucking room.
I think that's where my problem has been. Like, I haven't done it with a group of people whose commitment to the challenge has been on the same level. And also the willingness to, like, really work together. Right? Like, I've had the extremes of, like, straight up people who just straight up, like, don't care. They're just like, whatever. Like, I just don't care. And then I've had the people who I don't want to say care too much because I don't think that's the best way to describe them, but are more controlling. Like they want to solve everything. And it's like we got to work together.
This is a team. Sometimes you got to like tell people the numbers because the numbers on the other side. Like you really do got to work as a team.
Yeah. And like they just thought they knew everything. So they were just like, and then when you tried to get involved, they would then shift and just go do something else. And it's like, we should all be working together, right? Like, I don't understand what's happening here.
You come out with...
I feel like you and I alone could beat it.
We probably could.
I feel like we would crush it. Like...
Yeah. I realize some of them, like the real difficult, like the experience level ones, you just need some... So I don't have like the solving the crazy puzzle mind.
Okay.
Some people are just built... Like you've met Eustace. Eustace is a mate. Like you could just tell, like his brain works differently than mine, and he's great at fucking puzzles.
Okay.
So sometimes you need that person.
That's true. That's true.
I was like, I wasn't even looking at the shit you're looking at. You're 4 steps ahead in solving this.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I just need the right group, man. I want to do an escape room, and I want to do one and do one well. Like I want to come out of there feeling like
I crushed that.
We fucking crushed that shit. Like,
yeah.
Good stuff.
Next time I do one, I'll let you know.
All right.
And generally speaking, like we either go with, they're all my friends, but more Andrea's friends or more my friends.
Right.
Both are. I've done it with both, and both are great.
Okay. All right. Cool, man. So we were talking about it. I don't remember if it was last episode or the episode before last. I think it was the episode before last. We were talking about the audiobooks.
Have you started one?
I did.
Which
I
one?
did start one on my long ass drive to fucking St. Louis.
Okay.
I finally decided to start an audiobook. And I'll tell you what, Sean. I stand by what I said. I fucking stand by it. It is not the same as reading an actual book. If anything, like, first of all,
I really thought you were going to come here the opposite.
Nah, I feel the exact same way. I do not feel nearly as accomplished listening to this book as I would reading the book.
Were you paying attention or were you zoning out?
I was paying attention. There were a few times I zoned out.
Did you go back?
Yeah, I went back because I was like, I don't want to miss anything, right? So I'm listening to the book Fourth Wing.
It's wild to me that you're doing this book. Okay, continue.
Yeah. Why is that wild?
Just because, like, individually, we hit the path of this book without mentioning. Like, you brought it up from a
Yeah, it is
podcast,
crazy.
and I had already finished the trilogy.
Yeah, that
and
is
never
crazy.
once did I mention that I did the trilogy.
That
like,
is crazy.
And now here you are, because I remember listening to it, and in my head I was like, Nick loves dragons.
I do.
But there's a
love
lot of
dragons.
sex scenes, so it feels weird to be like, bro,
Listen to
this book full of sex scenes.
So here's the thing. I haven't even got to the sex stuff yet.
Okay.
Okay. So I didn't get super far into it yet. I don't think. I haven't gotten to the sex stuff. I have just gotten to the dragon stuff, the breakdown of the dragons, and that so far has piqued my interest easily the most out of anything else. To be honest with you, the first, like, I'd say almost an hour of this book, I was incredibly bored. I was like, what is...
Because they got to build it up.
I wasn't into it, yeah. And you know what? Here's my problem with it. The whole time I'm listening, I kept just wanting to look at my phone to see the video. And I'm like, there's no video. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
Yeah, you got to imagine it, man. It's a book.
But it's a weird in between, because the way they describe it, the tones in which they use, like, they kind of do a lot of, again, like I said before, they do a lot of this work for you. But at the same time, it just doesn't feel like quite enough. Like, I almost would rather be using my own imagination, reading the words off the page, than listening to somebody read them to me. And again, I've gotten more into it. I've given it more of a chance, and I'm more into it now than I was in the beginning. But in the beginning, I was just like, yeah, I think I'd just rather read this myself. And also, just like, you know, and again, I heard about this book before I read it. So just from someone else's description, I had already started like envisioning things in my head, imagining certain things and certain characters, what they might sound like. I don't know why I didn't expect this, but I didn't expect there to be multiple characters and voices within the book. I knew there'd be multiple characters. That sounded stupid. I obviously knew there were multiple characters within the book. I didn't think there'd be multiple people
the narrator.
reading. Right. I didn't think there'd be multiple narrators reading the lines of other characters. I thought it was going to be the one narrator who just may slightly shift her voice to like read the lines of other characters.
They are.
No, it's different people.
Do you have the audiobook with you?
Yeah. Like, I was just listening to this one part
Bring it up.
of the old man describing like the different types of dragons. She's in the class. And this is the part that's piqued my interest the most.
I'm gonna tell you, it's one person doing multiple voices.
You think it's one person?
And there's gonna be a dramatic shift because the last chapter is said from. So you've met Zayden.
Yeah.
So the last chapter is said from Zayden's point of view, and then they change the voice actor, and it's like an abrupt change. And it's much to bring it back to what we've talked about before. It's much like when you read a comic book and the artist changes, and you're like, "The fuck is happening?" Because you've been hearing one person do this voice for this character this whole time.
Let me see.
It's Rebecca something is the narrator, and she's doing all the voices. It's confusing because Rebecca something's also named the author, but it's not the same. They have different.
There's no way she's doing all these. Like, some of these voices are so different, bro. Like, there's clearly men doing these voices.
Appreciate her craft.
Yeah, there's clearly men doing some of these voices,
telling you,
bro. There's no way.
It is that woman doing the voice for everybody.
Don't take this personally, but you'll only be a hazard to your wing.
He charges at me, but his footwork is sluggish, and I spin away, landing a punch to his kidney before bouncing back on
One snap like
elbow. I squeeze.
You're doing a completely different version than me.
Am I?
For my arms.
This is
That's
different.
not why that might be why you're not into it. Mine doesn't do sound like the and the
Yeah,
thud.
it's sound effects and everything, bro.
They don't do what I listen to had no sound effect.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we're listening to something different.
My throat.
Like, this.
I don't have the dramatic music in the
There's
background
music,
either.
sound effects. Like, it's legit just a visual movie.
Legs, useless
So maybe that's what it is, man. I didn't have any of that.
between my thighs. He's unmovable.
Yeah, like, there's actual...
And pins it above my head
Let me see.
in his
Hold on.
onyx eyes. To commend, I remind myself, and yet, before letting go of my wrist,
Sorry, guys, I don't know how...
attacker.
Oh well, this sounds. Let me play what mine's like.
Yeah, so my it's sound effects.
Sewn diagonally along the rib cage.
Yeah,
For your
it is
daggers.
different. It's completely
I
different.
only have 4. I grabbed them from the pile on the floor.
That's what I
You'll
was
learn more.
expecting.
Yeah.
I slide my weapons
And
into
this
the sheaths.
is like
I sew my ribs.
there's clearly like different. Like I said, it's literally a visual. It's just a audio movie. Like there's
Yeah, I think that would take me out of it.
yeah.
I don't want the sound effects or the music. I just want you to and I'm fine with you. So like I was saying, what mine is like it's one narrator, but she changes their voice slightly for the different characters.
That's what I was.
And I think
expecting,
that helps a little bit when you're listening versus the reading it. Like I think it helps. Like, oh, this character's talking, that character's talking.
yeah, of course.
But yeah, that's weird.
yeah,
I don't know if I like that.
It was tough to get.
I just
into
got
at
asked if I
first.
did like the deluxe version or some shit, and I didn't know what they were talking about. And I'm like, okay, now I get it. There's like a version that has
Dude, sound of when she talks about like unsheathing her daggers and stuff, like you hear the
shing.
yeah,
No,
like
no,
all
I
that
didn't have
stuff.
any of that.
She's like throwing them, and you hear them like she's like I throw them, and they hit the trunk of the tree, and it's like toot, toot, like it makes the thud sound, like all the grunting. Pff, I can't imagine what the sex things are gonna be like now.
Yeah,
man.
it's gonna be crazy.
So yeah,
Mine.
but yeah, so I just got to the
Feel
part.
free to use my Audible if you want to switch to the other version.
I mean, I guess I'm into this one now, so I might as well finish it. But I just finished the part. Well, one, she just fought Zayden for the first time in like the sparring, where
Yeah.
he just like systematically just breaks her down and like steals all her weapons and tosses them to the side. But before that, the chapter right before that was the chapter where she was in the class and the guy was talking about all the different dragons.
Yep.
And that was like, I was hooked on that. That's the moment I got hooked of like, okay, cool. We're finally getting to some dragon shit. Like that's what I'm here for is the fucking dragons. You know what I mean?
It only gets better, but the first book takes a while to get to it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And just like the dragons, I think it's cool hearing about the different powers. And not only that, but how like different writers can get different powers from the same dragon. It just depends on like how strong your bond is,
Yeah.
and kind of like what your chemistry is between you and that dragon, and like that's all that shit's super cool. So
Yeah.
I love all that aspect of it.
Dia just finished all 3, like super fucking quick.
Did you really?
She was
She
reading
just
them.
read them.
She just read them.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that.
It was kind of cool. She stopped. She's like, "What's going on with this?" I'm like, "You're gonna find out soon. You want me to tell you, or you want to read it?" No, let me read it.
Yeah, but I stand by. So I don't know. Maybe you know what? Because I was standing by what I said, but maybe if I was listening to that kind of audiobook, I would feel differently. I don't know.
That's intense. That's
Yeah.
too much.
It was a lot because, like I said, at that point, I'm like, I have nothing to imagine like I'm just listening. Like I guess I could still. There's no visuals, right? So I can still imagine it, but a lot of the work is already done for me. You know,
Yeah.
like so. Yeah,
Right?
but dragons are cool as shit, though.
Yeah.
Dragons are fucking cool. All right,
You know, I didn't. I'm hoping you did it.
What's
Or
that?
maybe did. I almost included one of these characters in what we're doing today. For a little for pop culture characters.
Yeah, included what character? Like one of the.
I thought about putting Violet in there.
Oh,
but
did
I
you?
didn't.
that
Because
makes
for one,
sense.
maybe I would have done had I known you started the book. But I was like, I don't know how many of our listeners overlap.
No, yeah, no, that's fair.
With Fourth Wing, I was like, that's my.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like listen, again, I'm liking the concepts. The story is taking a while to build, but I get it. You know what I mean? Like I understand. You got to build, you got to get there.
You know what I think is going to help you? This is not a spoiler, but to know, every book ends on a cliffhanger. It's just so you know.
Okay. I know the cliffhanger the first book ends on. Because again, I got a whole description listening to another podcast. So
But
I
if you keep going,
know the cliffhanger for the first book, but I don't know any of the second and
yeah,
third.
the
so.
second and third also end on cliffhangers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't the third the final one, or is there?
No. But the issue is she's, I only know this because my friend's like super into it. But she was telling me that like this writer is writing a different book. She's taking a break and then she's writing, she has multiple series. She's writing a book from the other series she has. And then she's going to get around to continuing the story. So
Hell
like,
of an imagine- That's a hell of an imagination.
yeah.
You think you can write a book?
I do.
Okay.
If I could gather up the patience, I think I have the imagination for it.
Would you rather write an actual book or a comic book?
So this is my thing.
Okay.
The only reason I would be reluctant to do the comic book is I'm not good enough to do the art as well.
Well, you don't have to do the art.
But I don't
But you
think
do have to
I
describe it,
could
though.
communicate what I want to the artist to make it look the way I want it to look.
Okay.
So I'd rather just do the book.
Because you do have to communicate it.
Yeah.
I've seen. Recently, I was reading. I bought a. It's called the Treasury Edition. It's like an oversized, like deluxe version of this one comic book, and some of the extra features of it is the notes from the writer to the artist of like what they think should happen and how they want things like drawn. Like obviously they're still gonna draw it, but like they give a description of like this happens, like, you know, we find Doctor Doom in this room and like there's tons of he's plugged into this machine, there's a bunch of tubes just kind of scattered everywhere, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like you do have to give that description so that the artist has a general direction of where to go. But I think a big part of it too is just pairing up with an artist that like you know will fit what you're looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a part of it too. All right, man. I got a rapid verses for you. All right.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna give.
I was trying to transition in.
I know,
saw,
but
okay,
before we do
diverted.
that, because I did this,
A rapid verse.
rapid verses.
Hit me.
All right. So I'm gonna give you two, like right up against each other. You just gotta pick one, and then that one keeps going.
Okay, so it's just me. You're not also.
No, I'm not also doing this. It's
Okay.
just for you. All right. So to go in line with the theme of what our episode is, this is going to be superhero cartoons.
Okay.
Okay? Rapid verses. Just right off the top. Tell me which one you like better, you'd rather watch. There's the cooler cartoon, more iconic, whatever. All right?
Got it.
All right, here we go. Batman the Animated Series or X-Men the Animated Series?
Batman the Animated Series.
Okay, Batman the Animated Series or Superman the
You
Animated
shouldn't have
Series?
started with Batman. The
I know,
Animated
I
Series.
shouldn't have.
Batman the Animated Series.
Okay, Batman the Animated Series or X-Men Evolution?
Still Batman the Animated Series.
Okay, Batman.
When you say Batman the Animated Series, you mean the complete?
Yeah,
So even when they update the drawings.
yeah.
Okay.
Batman the Animated Series or Batman Beyond?
Batman the Animated Series.
Batman the Animated Series
Bro, you should have started with this
I
one.
shouldn't
It's
have.
going to win.
or Wolverine and the X-Men?
Batman the Animated Series.
Batman the Animated Series or Static Shock?
Batman the Animated Series.
Batman or the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Batman.
All right. Batman the Animated Series or Justice League / Justice League Unlimited?
This is where it gets closer.
Okay.
I still think Batman's the superior show.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
But Justice League, but it's essentially the same.
Yeah,
right?
it's a continuation.
Like it's a continuation. It's the same universe, same voice actor, same Batman with all the other characters. It's
Right.
essentially the same. And you know what the best moments are? It's usually the ones including Batman.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. Batman the Animated Series or Teen Titans?
Batman the Animated Series.
Batman or Invincible?
Still Batman.
Okay. Batman the Animated Series or Batman Cape Crusaders?
Still Batman.
Which
Animated series.
Yeah, okay. Batman the Animated Series or Young Justice?
Closer.
Okay.
Because I think Young Justice is a very great show.
Yeah.
The issue with Young Justice is it came back and it got way too far away from the story.
Okay.
If it was like the first 2 seasons, I think it would have been much closer. They're up to 4, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like season 1 and season 2. It's like season 1 is better than season 2. Season 2 is better, way better than season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then season 4 is probably the worst of it.
I agree.
But because Batman the Animated Series stays like very good consistently, it's still Batman the Animated Series.
All right. Just a couple more. Batman the Animated
We
Series.
should just like we should do it again without Batman.
I know.
Because then I could have had more
More back and forth.
Yeah.
Or Creature Commandos.
Batman.
Okay. Batman the Animated Series or X-Men 97?
Batman.
Damn, wow. All right, let me see. Let me mix it up. You want me to take Batman out?
Was that the last one?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Let's run it one more time and take Batman out.
All right, let me see.
Extra quick now.
Okay, hold on. Let me mix them up.
DNO would just like on Sunday mornings when we like wake up, we'll just put a random ass Batman episode on because that show's so good and holds up that even
Really?
Dia's watching them.
Interesting.
Sometimes she suggests them. Let's put a Batman episode on. Say less.
You're living a life, man. You're living the fucking life. If you just want to keep bragging, then that's fine. You son of a bitch. All right. You can take out Batman. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Young Justice or Batman Beyond? Quick.
Young Justice.
Okay. Young Justice or Creature Commandos?
Young Justice.
Young Justice or X-Men the Animated Series?
I wish I remembered the original X-Men
That's fair.
better. I'm going to say it's probably the X-Men.
Okay.
Even though I don't remember it well enough, we'll put X-Men.
All right. X-Men the Animated Series or Teen Titans?
X-Men.
Oh, interesting. X-Men the Animated Series or Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes? This is the one you like because you know there was two.
Yes. This was the first one.
Yeah, the one before was like MCU-ified.
Right. Let's go. Let's put Avengers.
Okay. Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes or Static Shock?
Avengers.
Avengers or X-Men Evolution?
X-Men Evolution.
X-Men Evolution or Invincible?
Invincible.
Invincible or Superman the Animated Series?
Invincible.
Invincible or Batman Cape Crusaders?
Invincible.
Invincible or Wolverine in the X-Men?
I almost want to give it to Wolverine in the
Okay.
X-Men. That's how good that show is. You know the biggest issue of that show?
It got canceled, right?
Got canceled after
Yeah.
one season.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
One season?
One season.
Wow.
If they had a second season, it might have won, but it's not going to win. Invincible.
All right. Invincible or Justice League / Unlimited?
This
Nostalgia's
is
kicking,
very,
isn't it?
very close. The nostalgia wants me to pick it, but I actually think Invincible is probably a better show.
All right. Invincible or X-Men 97? Somehow X-Men 97 still ended up as the last one.
Yeah, let's go Invincible.
Invincible over X-Men 97?
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
You would
get
have
that.
chosen Invincible too.
I probably would have chosen Invincible too. All right, cool.
That's fun.
All right, bet.
I had a little bit more going on. I mean, Batman in the beginning was brutal.
Yeah, I get that. You know what?
I was like, Batman.
Now that
Batman.
you said that, I shouldn't have done it. I should have put them randomly somewhere in the middle,
Yeah.
maybe. So we got a little bit more. Maybe I'll just cut that one out and I'll just do the second one. I'm not gonna edit that
No,
out. It's gonna
leave it
stay
in.
in here.
Yeah.
It'll be just fine. All right, man. So speaking of all these cartoons, our new episode topic, which is not the one we started off with. I should have mentioned the cartoon we were supposed to talk about today. But
Next, we're going to talk about it next week.
yeah, so we'll talk about it next week. Or I should have, I should
put
have
it
threw
on
it
here?
in the list. Yeah. But we're going to be, we're given our list of crossovers that we'd like to see between pop culture, non-comic book characters, and comic book characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a little bit fun, cool
Yeah.
to see, as long as they're pop culture. It doesn't matter if they've maybe been in a comic book. It's like we chose a pop culture character and a comic book character.
And we're just
that
it
they
would
would
be
cross
fun
over
to
and it
see
would be
them.
fun.
And I mean, look, to be fair, we've done a whole episode of comic book crossover. Have we done one or two?
I think we've done two.
I think we've done two as
Done
well.
two.
And
So
there's
this
been
is-
a lot of
this
fun
is like
crossovers.
Are creating what the crossover comic
Exactly.
should be instead of us telling you what exists already.
Yeah. And we did a whole episode. Go back and listen to that episode. But
It's a fun episode.
Just like some recent ones, there's currently a Sonic the Hedgehog Justice League crossover going on right now. There's been
Which we've talked about that one.
Yeah, I think I did briefly mention. They're only like 3 issues in, so I probably did mention it though.
But we talked about Tasmanian Devil and
Wonder Woman. Yeah, there was a whole Looney
Um,
Tunes DC crossover. Batman and Elmer Fudd was a
Yep.
big one.
Yeah. Ninja Turtles with
Power
Batman.
Rangers, Ninja
Power
Turtles
Rangers.
with Batman, Power Rangers with Godzilla.
Then we talk about. I think we talk about Superman, and Spider-Man.
Superman and Spider-Man, Superman and the Hulk, Batman, Captain
just
America,
watched
Batman, Spider-Man,
a
Batman,
variant.
Punisher. There's a bunch of them.
I watched a variant YouTube video.
Yeah.
10 facts about Spider-Man that you likely didn't know was the title. And the one I didn't know.
I saw him
thought
post
was
that. I
fun.
didn't watch it.
Some of them you'll know for sure. But I didn't know that the reason that there's the dash in Spider-Man is because Stan Lee didn't want it to look. He didn't want it to get confused with Superman. He didn't want people to go to the shop, look over it, thinking it was a Superman comic book.
Interesting. I kind of always wondered that too.
Yeah,
Because it
that's
is
why I
like
did
that.
it.
If you type Spider-Man into like Google, it'll correct you to put the dash
With
there.
the dash. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, that is interesting.
Well,
Look at you stealing fun facts, giving them to our audience. That's what we do here, man. All right, so you came up with your list of crossovers. I came up with some crossovers. And yeah, man, this is just loose. We're just having fun,
Yeah.
right? Like, the idea is we're going to give some crossovers we like to see, maybe give an
How we would
idea of
imagine
a
it.
story,
Yeah.
a kind of story that could take place between the two characters and like how it happens. So, yeah, man, let's just have some fucking fun. What you got?
so I want to give a.
You came out with a
shout
long
out.
list.
I found this to be easy. I want to give a shout out to Andrea.
Ting.
She actually came up with the idea for this episode. First one on my list is the example she gave. Indiana Jones and Wonder Woman.
That does sound fun.
It sounds like a great time.
Does sound
I
fun.
imagine. So I recently, I think I was telling you, I don't know if I said this on the podcast, rewatched and not the correct order
Yeah,
at
you-
all.
you were
in like
telling me
a
about that.
psychopath style order.
You
all the
forgot the
Indiana
order.
Jones movies. Yeah, man. So we started because the newest one came out
Fun
in
fact,
theaters.
also on my list of pop culture movies I've never seen.
I know you got to watch them. You're going to. I can feel it. It's gonna happen.
You feel Indiana Jones is the
Feel
one. That's
like
the
that's
one.
the one.
That's
You're
the
gonna
one.
watch one and you're gonna get hooked.
Interesting.
I used to
All
play
right.
the video game.
Did you?
Yeah, it's a great game.
Okay. Fair enough.
We did that, and then we watched Tomb Raider because I was like, maybe we should be Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider for Halloween. She was not about it.
No.
No,
Have I seen that Tomb Raider movie?
with Angelina Jolie.
Oh, you watched that Tomb Raider movie. You know there's a newer one, right?
I didn't. I watched
Yeah.
the two Angelina Jolie ones.
No, those suck. You gotta watch
Well,
the
they're early
newer
2000s.
one. Yeah, there's a newer one that came out. I mean, shit, I guess at this point, like almost 10 years ago.
So it's
But-
also super old.
No, it's much more recent. Let me see. Go ahead, keep talking. I'll find
So,
out.
what I can imagine, I think this would be a fun comic book. I think you'll get Indiana Jones going into some ode, Raider
2018.
rating
That's
kind
what
of
I thought.
thing.
2018 it came out.
And you're gonna get Wonder Woman to show up. It might happen at Themyscira.
Okay.
And he's not supposed to be on the island.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like a lot of fun back and forth of like I feel like Indiana Jones got a little Steve Trevor kind of thing going for himself
that.
anyway. So maybe a little back and forth, kind of joking feelings with each other, but also like Indiana being like, yeah, so the history of this relic is this, and then Wonder Woman's be like, yeah, I knew her.
That is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it
that's
wasn't
fun.
that. You have this wrong, right? Like, so I think it would be a lot of fun.
That would be fun. All right, I like that. Yeah. So I also did a Wonder Woman one.
Okay.
It's funny that because in my mind, I kind of had it playing out similarly of like this guy who would show up on Themyscira, kind of Steve Trevor style. So I
Yeah.
guess it's not the most creative.
It's not very original, but still fun.
Yeah, it's not very original, but I think it would still make for an interesting crossover. But Wonder Woman and Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like that kind of, they both, again, he shows up kind of Steve Trevor style, but instead of like being like the pilot of man's world and, kind of being into like the modern technology and having to like learn more of the, ancient, kind of more traditional, like warrior traditions of like Themyscira and the Amazonians. Jon Snow is like right there. You know what I mean? Like so it would be kind of more of Wonder Woman. I imagine it as a love story of Wonder Woman kind of falling in love with this guy who is just as much of a warrior as she is, but just obviously doesn't have like her gifts, right? He doesn't have the super
He's just
strength
a
and
man.
fight. He's just a man who just doesn't give up and just has a true warrior spirit. And her
be
just
fun.
like falling for that of like, no, this dude is. he's as much of a warrior as I've ever seen. He's just, he doesn't have my invulnerabilities, you know what I mean? So, like, I think that would be fun.
All right. That's cool. Do you think she would go to the wall with him and be like, the fuck are we doing?
Probably. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see the story, like, transitioning into, like, the war with the Snow King and all that shit, like the Amazonians versus his undead art, like that. Yeah, I can see all that shit happen. That'd be fun.
All right. I got like a threefer.
A threefer.
A threefer.
Okay.
Harry Potter.
I was wondering if you were gonna use Harry Potter. I figured you would.
Harry Potter with Doctor Strange.
Okay, I like it.
As they are both heroes.
Okay.
They will be versing Voldemort.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I kind of feel like Doctor Strange stumbles into the magical realm where Harry Potter's about to get fucked up because in reality he's not superior. I know you didn't really consume Harry Potter, but the fight is not realistic between those two.
Okay.
So when Voldemort's going to come do some crazy magic things, Doctor Strange is going to step in and be like the assistance that he needs to kind of turn the tides.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah. I figured you were gonna do Harry Potter.
Yeah, throw some Harry Potter in there.
Yeah, with some kind of wizardry or magic based.
Yeah.
Put him with some magic based characters.
Yeah.
I mean, that just makes sense.
I was just
right?
like, I was going through them all. I thought the Zantana, I thought Constantine, I thought Dr. Fate. Doctor Strange feels right.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay.
Because it's got like Doctor Strange is a little more darker, right? Voldemort's got I don't even know about the Horcruxes, but the Horcrux is like the whole like he rips his soul apart by murdering people so he can't die. That feels like a very Doctor Strange thing.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. But you said you had a threefer. What's the other two?
Because I was doing Harry Potter and Voldemort to go.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh,
with
okay,
Doctor
okay.
Strange.
Yeah, no.
So I did more than one character, but the same
Yeah.
pop culture universe.
Okay. So I also had to do some sort of like magic team up, right? Some kind of wizardry crossover. I think I went very different with mine though, and I went John Constantine
Okay.
in the Stranger Things universe with 11.
Interesting.
So the way I imagined it happening, right,
That's fun.
is John Constantine somehow, because he's always dabbling in like the dark arts, right? Always, he plays poker with demons and shit, right? Like he does more dark magic. So I imagine he does something, some spell goes awry or something like that, and he finds himself in the Upside Down, right? 11 is also there, and then I see this as kind of like we're seeing it a lot now within pop culture, but the unwilling, like gruffy, like hard guy having to take care of like the young child and go on this adventure. So akin to like a Logan and X-23 kind of story. But, John Constantine, same thing. He's
reluctant.
Yeah, he's reluctant. He's like, I don't want to. But he realizes that if he doesn't keep her safe, then she's going to die in the Upside Down. And she still has her powers, but this is like a younger 11. So she hasn't really learned how to use them just yet. They only kind of activate when she's in super danger or in trouble or mad or whatever. And he sees the potential in her. So he's like, yeah, fuck, I guess I got to, And then they go on this adventure of trying to like somehow get out of the Upside Down. And I imagine that John Constantine's magic is probably a bit array because he's in this new dimension and it is the Upside Down. So things are just kind of weird and out of sorts. So yeah, that's kind of what I was envisioning there.
Mine?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
Seems
John
fun.
Constantine 11 action.
My next one's a little bit more out there.
You could do 2 because you have way more than I do.
Okay. All right. Captain Jack Sparrow,
Okay.
Aquaman.
Also, never seen any of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
You've never seen Pirates of the Caribbean? Now you're out of damn. These are so your kind of movies.
Are they?
Yeah. You're going to love them.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so Jack Sparrow and Aquaman.
Jack Sparrow
Makes
and
sense.
Aquaman, right? So Captain Jack Sparrow, I think he's out there on the sea where he always is, and he's coming across a kraken that he's probably on the flying...
Are there krakens in?
They are. You need the Flying Dutchman. I also recently watched these movies, which is the name of a ship to call the kraken, and I think he calls the kraken, and Aquaman shows up with it, being like, looking at the kraken.
The fuck are
with
you doing?
The fuck are we here? What just happened? And Captain Jack Sparrow being like, "Oi, just come out of the water." Like, I can't do his accent, but whatever, right? Like, he's gonna be like, they're both gonna be looking at you like, the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And then somehow they're gonna have to like team up to fight some other pirates or some shit like that.
That sounds fun. Okay,
Yeah.
I can see that. I can also see like maybe like a Aquaman or Namor, like a Moby Dick crossover.
Yeah.
Like, you know, who's the guy who's chasing Moby Dick? Do you remember his name from the book?
No.
I can't remember it either. I think it's John something. But yeah, like he finds out, and Aquaman's like, "Yeah, no, fuck this shit. Like, you're not finna kill this whale." And yeah, it's just insanity ensues. All right, cool. Give me another one. What else you got?
I did. Throw some Buffy in there, right?
Buffy the
Put
Vampire
Buffy
Slayer?
the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
Or
Have you
Angel.
ever watched Buffy?
Yeah. I used to love the spin-off show Angel,
Okay.
which felt a little bit more like for men. Not that either, right? You could watch either, right? But it felt like it was geared towards more men.
Okay.
So I actually put both. So I put Buffy/Angel. This is obvious with Blade.
Oh yeah, that is
easy.
yeah, that is
Awesome,
easy.
low hanging fruit right there.
Yeah.
Right. We got the Vampire Slayer. We got another vampire with the soul going with Blade, who's the vampire of the end of the Marvel universe.
I didn't even think about Blade.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's gonna kind of start off more with Buffy hunting Blade, not knowing that he's more anti-hero. He's not necessarily.
Give me the rundown of Buffy. So Buffy's not a vampire. She is actually a vampire slayer.
Is a buff. Yeah, it's literally called Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right. So she's a vampire
so being
hunter.
a slayer, which is, if I remember, it's like one a generation gets chosen. You basically have like super strength. You're a little bit more. You're faster. You're a little bit more invulnerable. You heal easier. So you're gonna get put onto par with the vampires you're fighting.
Okay.
But then you're kind of designed as like the force to like kind of keep the vampires at bay, right? Like you're supposed to not taking over because you're going out there and killing them. But she kills like demons and stuff too.
Okay.
Angel is like a vampire as well that like gets his soul back, so he's good. They were like a love interest in the first season, if I have that correct. But then he gets his own show. Which, if it wasn't so dated, I'd tell you to watch. But it's a little dated, so I don't think you get into it.
Sorry.
But yeah, I think the three of them just make sense. We're gonna see Buffy kind of. I think Angel's gonna step in and be like, "What the fuck you doing, Buffy?"
All right, fair enough.
And then they'll probably all three team up to hunt some greater evil.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
They'll fight for a Bitten and their friends. All right, cool. It's funny because when we were talking about this, you specifically said that you didn't want to see this crossover. And the moment you said it, I was like, nah, we got to do a crossover from the Fast and Furious verse.
Oh my gosh.
Get my boy Dom Toretto with Ghost Rider.
With Ghost Rider.
Dom Toretto's Charger versus Ghost Rider's Hell Charger in a race in the underworld.
Oh my god. I wouldn't read it.
No.
No. It sounds like it will
Dom
happen too.
Toretto fueled by the power of family up against Ghost Rider's Hellcat.
Yeah.
Bro, that sounds great.
It feels like it's gonna happen. And I will not read
I wouldn't
it.
be surprised.
It feels so realistic.
It does. It could be both Ghost Rider. It could be motorcycle Ghost Rider. It could be Charger Ghost Rider. Any of the Ghost Riders, really. Maybe they all come together. They all family, right? Like the power of family brings them all together. And then they got to race like, I don't know, fucking Mephisto, the devil or something. I don't know. Something fun like that, though.
My.
I mean, Dom Toretto's basically a superhero.
Yeah.
Have you seen the
He
latest?
didn't start that way.
No, he didn't. But then, it was funny. I saw a TikTok the other day that was like, at what point did the Fast and Furious movies take the shift from just being racing movies to basically being superhero movies? Like, at what point, what was the moment? He's like, not the movie, the moment that they made the shift. And I think, personally, We might have seen this one together, actually. Didn't we see a Fast and Furious movie together?
We did see it one.
We did.
We saw the one when Paul Walker passed away.
No, we saw the one before that.
We saw the one where his brother had to finish.
No, I didn't see that one with you. I've never even seen that one at all.
I'm pretty sure we saw
No, it was
that
the one
together.
before that.
All right.
Because there's a moment where it was the one that when he found out Letty was still alive. And there's a moment where she's on top of a car, or she's
I know what you're talking about.
and he like she's about to fall into this ravine, and he takes his car, rams it into the side of this, propels himself out of the car across this ravine, catches her midair, then shifts his body, lands on another car windshield, back against the windshield, and then just stands up and walks away like nothing fucking happened.
Yep.
It's like, bro,
That's the moment.
that was the moment. That was the moment that shit went from just being a racing movie to being a superhero movie. And then then in later movies, he does shit like stomps the ground and makes a whole parking garage collapse. Like that man has super strength. There's no doubt about it. Because that was also the one where they introduced The Rock. And I think that also helped tip them over the edge. Because then you had Vin Diesel's big ass fighting The Rock's big ass. And it was just a big ass brawl.
Yeah.
You
Which
know,
made sense. You
yeah.
had to put that fight in there if you're going to put
Yeah.
The Rock in.
And they had to fight to a draw.
Because The Rock's not allowed to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why I was stupid to make him Black Adam. But we don't need to go back to that.
That's true. Let's not relive those
Yeah.
moments. All right. What else you got? What other crossovers you have?
Just for fun, Kratos.
What you know about Kratos? Because I was going to put Kratos too.
I mean, he's got to fight Thor.
Yeah, I agree. I was literally going to put that exact same crossover. I thought you wouldn't know who Kratos was.
I know Kratos.
I mean, but in the later games, he does fight Thor because it's
Yeah, but I need Marvel.
Yeah. Marvel story, yeah. So you could just do the story, just put Thor in there. Because, in the earlier games, it's Greek mythology. Then the newer games, it switches to Norse mythology. So he fights he fights Loki and Thor and Odin and all of them. So, yeah, no, that was kind of like that makes sense. That's like a no-brainer. Let's make that one happen for sure.
Yeah.
I had a video game one, but then as I was looking at it, I felt like there could be a better match for this, and I feel like I've decided what the better match is. I'm going to go the Pet Avengers and Air Bud.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Makes sense. What video game character were you going to put originally?
Spyro.
Spyro? Okay.
Spyro the
I
Dragon.
almost did the Pet Avengers with Clifford.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
It's a good one as well.
That's a good one, too. Clifford is basically a mutant dog.
Yep. Yep.
He has superpowers. It just is what it is.
Nobody's fucking with Clifford.
Yeah, no. And then, he's bigger than Lockjaw,
Yeah.
who is a giant teleporting bulldog. So, yeah, I like that one better, actually. I like that one better. Yeah, and then maybe Throg gives him, like, the power of an Asgardian or something. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
That'd be a good time. All right. I like that one. I also did John Wick and the Punisher.
That works.
Yeah, I mean,
That's really good.
obviously, and this would be, again, probably another cliche story of just like somehow they encounter each other, they have a big old fight, big old shootout, and then they realize that they're both on a mission of getting revenge for their family, and then they just team up, and then they're just headshots
And when we
every
point out-
fucking body.
John Wick's basically Punisher.
He really is, yeah. He really is. He really is the Punisher. He just, the difference is that the Punisher, he didn't start off as, I don't want to say evil, but, with dark ways, he just evolved to be that. They both have similar traits. But yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah?
Just
Yeah, that's a good
Punisher
one.
and John. I'm actually surprised that that's not a comic already, to be honest with you.
Just a matter of time.
I'm surprised that hasn't been written as a crossover. Like, there was a fucking Punisher and Eminem crossover comic book. So the fact...
It's just a matter of time, Nick. It's just a matter of time.
it definitely is. Yeah, I feel like all of these could be turned into a comic pretty easily.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
I got... How many more you got?
One.
I'm gonna do a couple.
All right. Yeah. You do a
Let me
couple.
catch
Let me
up
see what
here.
you got.
I got Neo from The Matrix
Okay.
with Shang-Chi.
Mm.
So I imagine Neo going into the Matrix. He's about to fight some. Did you watch the Matrix movies? This is another one. My God, man. He's gonna go fight some of the agents.
I've seen the first one, but I don't remember it very well. It was a long time ago.
He's gonna go fight some of the agents, and he runs into Shang-Chi, thinking that he's an agent because he's just so good at fighting. And then come to realize that he's actually fighting somebody else that's gonna have to be in the Matrix too for the story to make sense. And it's just another really gifted
Does
fighter.
Shang-Chi beat the shit out of him?
Now Neo really know that. Neo's gonna win.
Neo's going to win against Shang-Chi? Is that what you're telling me right now?
That's what I'm telling you.
Explain yourself.
Well, for one, Neo can affect everything within the Matrix.
So they're in the Matrix when this is taking
Yeah.
place. Is that what's giving him the advantage then?
Yes.
Okay. So it's just the Matrix.
It's the Matrix.
So outside of the Matrix,
If they were in the real world, then yes, Shang-Chi is going to
then
win.
Neo's dead.
Yeah, I think Neo is loosely supposed to be like a godlike figure, so maybe not dead. You
Interesting.
should finish the trilogy, and then we could really get into this discussion.
Have you watched all three?
I watched all 4.
I'm about to say there's more than 3, right? Okay.
Yeah, they came out with a new one.
Right, recently. Like
recently.
a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Neil Patrick Harris is the villain of that one.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
I can see that.
This next one feels fun.
Look
You
at
ready?
that, a couple Keanu Reeves. I mean, look, Keanu Reeves has been in like 2 comic books already, so it makes sense that all his characters could cross over into comic books.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
We should put his comic book character in there.
Should have, yeah. Keanu Reeves crossover with
Berserker.
comic book Keanu Reeves Berserk.
This next one I think is fun. So I'm imagining the Death Star with Darth Vader.
Okay.
And all of a sudden you got a obscure I can't stop.
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
feeling.
Okay, that's fun. I like that.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's fun. Okay.
I think that'd be a great comic.
That
book.
would be fun.
Just the fucking then the shit running. What the fuck is this big ass star? I thought this is
Yeah.
a refill station.
Interesting.
Right,
I knew
they
you were
gotta
gonna do a
take
Star
down
Wars
Vader.
one, but
Yeah.
I didn't know where you were gonna go with it. But the Guardians makes sense. I like that one because that is fun. That is not just because you could have easily went like some kind of epic story of like super good versus super evil and like somebody trains and becomes a Jedi and they fight Darth Vader. But no, having the Guardians just show up, that's fun.
Well,
No, I like that one. That one's cool. It'd be fun. I mean, a whole Star Wars universe Guardians crossover, I think would be
it would
fun.
be great.
Yeah.
Yoda with the rocket.
See, I was going to actually say Yoda with Groot. Like, maybe Yoda understands Groot's language. You know what I mean? And he, like, trains, like, that'd be
But
fun.
then Groot's confused by the way Yoda talks.
Yeah. No, that sounds like fun. Yeah, that'd be a good time for sure. Okay, cool.
I got 3 more. You want to do your last one or should I keep going?
Give me a couple more of yours.
All right. A terrifying one.
Oh, what now?
Terrifying.
Terrifying. Okay.
Pennywise with Ronald McDonald and the Joker.
Listen to me, Sean. That sounds like my worst fucking nightmare, bro.
I told you, terrifying.
Have I ever told you I don't like clowns? I feel like I've told you this.
So you're definitely not reading this one.
No, fuck no.
You know how I
Clowns
imagine it?
freak me out.
You know how I imagine it? Is the 3 of them sitting in a McDonald's, and they're eating Big Macs, having a conversation of who has killed the most people.
Jeez.
It's dark.
Why is
figured
Ronald
these-
McDonald there? Is he secretly
He's killed people with obesity.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like it would be like the Joker shows up, Ronald McDonald's there, and he sits him down, and he's the one telling him, like, you've killed a lot of people, bro. Like, people think I'm bad.
Yeah.
But you, these McDonald's are fucking everywhere. Have you seen the shit you put in these burgers?
Oh my goodness. What if they then devised a plan to basically like help each other kill more people?
That'd be fun too.
Like what if
We get an evil Ronald McDonald.
what if the Joker gave Ronald some sort of fear toxin gas, some type of fear toxin chemical to then put into McDonald's food to then serve to children to make their fears enhance, which then Pennywise feeds off of to
There you
murder
go.
more children.
It's hella dark.
What are we doing here?
You just wrote a very dark comic
Yeah,
book.
I did. Fuck. Is this what I'm like? Gee, should I be concerned with myself?
Maybe a little bit. It made sense. I followed you. Dark.
Dark as hell. Wow. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Just because Andrea said it, we got to put Edward from the Twilight series. He's obviously going to be interact with Morbius from the Marvel Universe.
So you're still going vampire versus werewolf?
No, it's is Edward the?
Edward's the
He's the
werewolf.
What's the vampire?
Jacob. No,
No,
Jacob is the
Jacob.
werewolf.
So
I'm
I'm
sorry.
going-
Edward is you're right. Edward is the vampire.
It's
Jacob
vampire
is the
versus
werewolf.
vampire.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, on that note, you might as well put Jacob in with fucking Werewolf by Night.
Sure, true.
Maybe he's trying to protect, I don't know, his family farm or whatever. But this werewolf keeps showing up at night that he doesn't recognize. And he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And they get into some big brawl.
I should put the supernatural characters into something. I'm just thinking about that now. All right, I got one more.
All right.
Am I going? And then you'll
Yeah.
finish this up?
Yeah.
I put Legolas from Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
which you also haven't seen.
Also haven't seen.
So Legolas is the elf. He is an
Okay.
amazing shot with a bow and arrow.
Ah.
So I put him with Green Arrow.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
imagine what's funny about Legolas is like throughout the movies he's counting how many the orcs he's killed because he's just like an amazing shot. He's like in competition, and I just imagine a very similar, not necessarily killing, but who's the better shot story with Green Arrow as they're
Yeah.
both like not looking and shooting.
That's fine. Yeah, that'd be
So I think it'd be a good time.
All right, all right. So the last one I got is I got Woody and the Toy Story crew
Okay,
crossing over with Ant-Man.
because he could shrink down to the
He can
size.
shrink down to the size of the toys. Yeah.
All right.
And maybe he shrinks down. He finds himself in this room. And the whole thing is that because they're toys, they usually they go limp when humans come around so that the humans don't know that they're alive as toys. But maybe because he's toy sized and he's dressed in this ant costume, they assume that he's just a new toy there. And he's like, the fuck is going on? These are toys. Like, what's happening? So
He's the only one that realized.
Yeah, he has a whole freak out moment, but something's wrong with his Pym particle thing, so he can't get bigger. So he's just stuck at toy size, and they go on some kind of adventure.
You think it's Scott Lang or Hank Pym?
Oh, it's definitely Scott Lang. Yeah, it's no way it's Hank Pym. It's Scott Lang for sure. Yeah, they go on some kind of mini adventure, and they gotta travel across a backyard or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And it just seems like some grand epic adventure. So yeah, I thought that'd be fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
So that was my last one.
Awesome.
How much time we at? How long have we talked?
Hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's not
That's
bad.
good.
All right, you want to talk about some comic books, or what you think?
Nah, I think we caught.
All right, cool. Guess that's it for this episode, guys. We appreciate you coming along with us for the ride on this one, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.